Good morning, class. Sorry I couldn't be there today due to some personal issues of my own, but I will be discussing with you some of the similarities and differences between American Chinese food and the Chinese food that they actually serve over there for meals. In case you didn't already know, they vary tremendously. If you've ever really looked at how many calories, salt, sugars, and chemicals are in American Chinese food, I highly doubt you'd be ordering Chinese takeout tonight. A typical Chinese takeout meal is well over 1,200 calories or more. We know Chinese food is usually delicious here in the United States, but over in China, food styles vary from region to region, and it's not always appealing to look at as well as eat. The authentic Chinese food version is that they are typically served with a bowl of rice or noodles, which is treated as the main food of the meal, and the meat and vegetables are usually used as side dishes. Unlike American versions, we use the rice as a side dish and load up on the meals. Meats, vegetables is smothered in unhealthy, sugary, salted sauces. Rice is typically consumed by them at a breakfast, lunch, and dinner, whereas here in America you would hardly ever see it consumed in the morning time before breakfast. In China, their sauces are minimal and not sugary. The sauce is very bland and usually has little taste. Here in the United States, when we order Chinese food, we commonly each get our own order of meat and vegetables with a side of fried rice, maybe an egg roll, and even a wonton or egg drop soup. In China, that's not the case. They have their own communal dish, which is shared by all at the table, along with their individual bowl of noodles or rice. Um, the typical calorie intake for a person in China for the day is 2,700 calories, whereas in the U.S. it's 3,600 calories. The Chinese believe that eating is a time of celebration, a time to socialize and relax. One thing the Chinese share with us is that it has become very common to start out with a large breakfast and late lunch and a big dinner. This is something that many urban Chinese families have picked up or adopted from our culture. Dinner is also the main meal during the day, like ours, and lunch is usually a time spent for them on taking a long early afternoon break. As you might already know, we don't share all that much in common, but we most often eat not really thinking much about it, other than eating is something we need to do, or we eat for comfort or out of boredom. Uh, in China, they believe in the five F's: fresh fish, fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, fresh meat, and fresh seafood. It is not uncommon in a restaurant in China to show you the fresh flopping fish right before they prepare it for you. Sorry to say, but you would never see this happen in a Chinese restaurant in America. In China, they also are big on the importance of food and the meaning of it. Most Chinese cooks believe that the color and the aroma of the food is almost as important as the taste. The Chinese really just love to make good food as much as they love to eat it. They have much more passion for it and care for the cooking that's going on into making it. Studies have actually shown that people in China have cholesterol blood counts 100 points less than ours in the U.S. The incidence of heart disease and cancer in China is drastically lower in the U.S. In a 1989 study, it showed that the Chinese take in 25% more calories adjusted to their height than Americans, and concluded that the Chinese are less likely to be overweight than Americans because they eat less fat than we do. In an effort to get the Chinese people to consume less salt, the government actually distributed 5 million blue plastic spoons, hoping the household would limit their salt intake to the blue plastic spoon a day. Many Westerners tend to think that all the Chinese food is prepared in a wok by stir frying the food, but in fact, many foods in China were prepared by stewing and steaming. Wok cooking, known as stir frying, is mostly used in restaurants as a quick method of preparation, and MSG is a common ingredient in the preparation of these Chinese foods as a flavor and appearance enhancer. the color MSG has been known to give people headaches who have a sensitivity to it. The results are still mixed of whether or not the MSG is unhealthy or not. A woman who worked in a Chinese restaurant in the U.S. actually reported that even though some Chinese restaurants have a no MSG signs behind the kitchen doors, they're still actually using this ingredient. I hope that this has given you a better understanding of the Chinese culture and some of the few similarities they have, and obviously the unique differences, that go on into their food and preparation, as well as what separates American Chinese food and the actual food prepared over there in China. So I leave you with this one question. The next time you decide to pick up the phone and order Chinese takeout, you might want to think again. Thank you.